So the next lesson is lesson 2, legal classification of evidence. The first topic of this lesson is ability to establish a fact in dispute of an evidence. So there are two examples of it, the direct evidence and circumstantial evidence, or what we call indirect evidence. So direct evidence is it is an evidence that which proves the fact in dispute without the aid of any inference or presumption. The evidence presented correspond to the precise or actual point at issue. So that was what we call direct evidence. So the second one is circumstantial evidence, or what we call indirect evidence. The proof of fact or facts from which taken either singly or collectively. The existence of a particular fact in dispute may be inferred as a necessary or probable consequence. There are following requisites must be presented before a circumstantial evidence will become sufficient for conviction. So first of is there is more than one circumstances. So it should be more than one circumstances. The second one, the fact from which the inference are derived are proven, and the combination of all circumstances such as to produce convictions beyond reasonable doubt. So mo na siya ang mga following requisite must be presented sa circumstantial evidence. Next slide is degree of value in establishing a dispute fact of an evidence. So there are four to conclude. First, primary facie evidence. This evidence suffices for the proof of a particular fact until contradicted by other evidence. Second one is the conclusive evidence. This evidence is incontrovertible, or one which the law does not all to be contradicted. It is insurmountable evidence. The third one is corroborative evidence. This evidence is of different kind of character as that already given and tends to prove the same position. So cumulative evidence, this is the same one as corroborative evidence. So cumulative evidence, this evidence is the same kind of character as the already given, tends and to prove the same proposition. Next slide is weight and acceptability of an evidence. So first one is primary or best evidence. So this evidence is afford the greatest certainty of the fact in question. The second one is secondary or substitutionary evidence. This evidence is inferior to primary evidence and admissible only in the absence of the latter. So next slide is the nature of an evidence. So there are 5 to conclude. First one is object evidence. The evidence is addressed to the sense of court and is capable of being exhibit to be examined or viewed by the court. This is also known as authentic evidence or real evidence. The second one is documentary evidence. This evidence refers to evidence supplied by written instruments or derived from conventional symbols and letters by which ideas are represented for material substances. The third one is testimonial evidence. So, this evidence is either verbal or oral. It is also an evidence which consists of the narration or disposition by one who has observed or has personal knowledge of that to which he is testifying. So, the fourth one is positive evidence. So, this evidence exists if the witnesses affirms that a fact did or did not occur. It is also entitled to greater weight since the witnesses represent his personal knowledge about the presence or absence of a fact. So, the last one is negative evidence. This evidence exists if the witness states that he did not see or known of occurrence of a fact and there is total disclaimer of personal knowledge. So, itong 4 at 5 ay contradict sila. Like, sa negative evidence siya yung evidence na dili or dili na maomo or dili na ana contradict siya sa personal knowledge. So, while ang positive evidence presence of knowledge niya nga nanay tama na about ana, like in the court na siya mag-base. The last topic for lesson 2 is quality of an evidence. So, there are 4 to include of this. So, the first one is relevant evidence. So, this evidence is relevant if it has relation to the fact in issue as to induce belief in its existence or non-existence. So, the next one is material evidence. This evidence tends to prove the fact in issue and is determined by the rules of substantive law or the rules of court. And the third one is admissible evidence. This evidence is admissible if it is relevant to the issue and is not excusable by the rules of court. So, the last one is credible evidence. Evidence is credible if it is not only admissible evidence but also believable and used by the court in deciding case. So, that is the end of the topic of lesson 2.